Hi everyone, welcome to Diet Rocks, and today I'm going to show you how to make my tuna pasta. And for it you're going to need some passata, chopped onion, maybe a little chopped red pepper, and 2 tins of tuna, just the small ones, and some, if you're on a diet, you can use some reduced fat cheddar cheese. I also sometimes pop in a little bit of tomato puree. You're going to need frylight and also some chicken stock. So about a pint, roughly, maybe. So in the pan, I've popped in some frylight. I've also got some water on to cook my pasta. So for tuna bake, I always like shells. I always like conchiglie. I just like the way it absorbs the gravy kind of moisture, you know. So but you can use any pasta, but mostly I like pen pasta, but for this I always use shells. So I'm just going to pause it for a second while I undo this and pop that in the pan so it boils. And I'm going to put all of the ingredients and the method in the description box. So if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos. But I'm just going to pause it for a second while I get this pasta on. Okay, so the pasta is now cooking, and while that's cooking we're going to do the rest. So I've just put this on so that it heats up, and in there I'm going to pop in a chopped up red onion. You can use any onion you wish, it doesn't have to be a red one, but I just happen to like them. And just let that sweat down just for a little while. It's not quite heated up enough yet. So once that's sweated down a little bit, I'll come back to you and show you what to do next. Okay, so they're cooking down a little bit. Don't be afraid to add more frylight. If you're not on a diet, you can just do this with oil or whatever. So I'm also going to be putting in some sweet corn today. Now, normally speaking, I would put in peas, but my other half is not keen on peas. So I'm just going to put in my pepper and some mushrooms. You don't have to use any of these ingredients if you don't like them. It's one of those meals where you can just put in what you want. So if you don't like mushrooms or you don't like corn, you just leave it out, and you can always substitute it for something else. Some people don't like pepper at all. And I put quite a lot of frylight there because mushrooms do absorb it. And I'm just going to let that cook down a little bit. Now sometimes as well I've been known to put a little tiny bit of oregano in, but I won't do that today. You just experiment. If it does look a little bit dry, just add some more. It's just that it does get absorbed a little bit. Just remember to keep stirring your pasta, make sure it doesn't stick. And into this, I'm now going to put in 2 cans of drained tuna. That's just a stray pepper, that's nothing to worry about. Just my cat loves to drink the juice when I've strained this. She goes crazy for it, tuna juice. So just pop them in. Now I swear these things get smaller every year. So if 2 isn't enough for you, you can always add 3. I sometimes do, depending on how much pasta I'm making. Now this is just for myself and my partner. There may be a little bit left over, so it might slightly be more than 2 dinner portions, but you can get 4 out of this if you're having it for lunch. So just pop that in. I love that hiss and sizzle. Also, I'm going to add some chicken stock. If you're a vegetarian and you don't want chicken stock, I'm sure that you can just get some vegetable stock, or I'm not sure what fish stock would be like. So I'm going to turn that down now, because I don't want it to fiercely boil or anything. It takes a little while. And I'm going to add some passata. I just need to open this. This will cool it down a bit. Stop it from being so fierce. So you're just putting quite a lot. I usually just empty the whole thing, but I put in about 2/3 because I'm not making a huge one. Sometimes, you know, usually I'll make it for the whole family. But that's slowed that down nicely. And all that I need to put in now is some sweet corn. You can put peas, as I said, anything else that you fancy at this stage. But Gary he just likes his corn. So I'm just going to shake in some corn. And I'm going to let that cook down. I think I might need a bit more stock. So I'll just put I'll put a little bit of water in because that was 2 stock cubes. So, and I didn't quite have enough there. So you don't really want it to be thick, but you want it to reduce down just a little bit while the pasta's cooking. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to go and keep an eye on my pasta, and I shall come back to you when that's done. Okay, so I've stirred my pasta, and now this has started to bubble again. I've turned it down so it will simmer, because you want it to reduce. You don't want it to reduce too much. You still want it to be fairly runny, because what you're going to do is, once your pasta has reached kind of al dente, that's when we put it in. So you don't want it to be fully cooked, because it will finish off its cooking in the dish and also in the oven. So you know, you don't really want it to be mushy. So you're just going to cook it so it's al dente, and then we're going to put it in. So I'm just going to pause it for a little while that does its magic. Okay, so at this point is where I normally assess it, and if I just put in the last bit of passata because I felt like it was reducing a bit too much. And at this stage as well, if you want to, you can add another tin of tuna. It just depends. Sometimes they're quite chunky and other times they're just mushy and they just boil down. But, you know, depends how much tuna you like. So now I've drained my pasta, and I'm just going to pop that in and give it a stir around so it's all incorporated. And I'm going to let that just simmer for a little while longer. And if you didn't think there's enough tomato in it, you can always add some tomato puree. If you don't have passata, you can use tins of tomatoes, but I did luckily have some passata in the cupboard. So that's kind of nicely incorporated. Just let that simmer for another, say, 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to transfer it into an oven dish. Okay, so that's perfect now. All I need to do now is to transfer this into my oven dish, and then possibly will be too much for this one, in which case I'll make a smaller one as well. Now I've got a spoon with holes in, mainly because the other spoons are too small, but I will put the juice in. I will share it between this one, and if I do make another, I will put some in there. This is actually quite a deep dish, so that's quite deceiving. It might take all of it, but you don't want it to ooze over the side. That's the only thing. So I might have to make a small one. So just pop that in there. I'm going to pause it while I do this a little bit more manually. It's a little bit difficult to do when you're filming. So I'm just going to pause it now. This is off. It just takes a while to cool down. I'm going to put it in there. Then I'll assess if I need to put it in a smaller one as well. And I'll come straight back to you. Okay, so we did make a small one as well, but all we have to do now is to sprinkle our reduced fat cheese all over it. Now obviously, if you're doing this in a portion controlled way, you just need to add up the right amount, but this is all going on, and some on a small one as well. Oops, got some spillage. I like to cover all the bald spots, and then a little bit more on here. And then all we do is pop it into a preheated oven. So I forgot to tell you to preheat the oven. So that would be, I always do it at 180 degrees Celsius. I'm not really sure at this precise moment in time what that is in Fahrenheit, but I will look it up and pop it in the description box with everything else. So now all we do is put it in the oven until it's nice and browned. Everything is cooked, so it's really just keep an eye on it, basically, because we don't want it to burn, but you'll see when it's nice and yummy looking. So I'm going to pause it while I put it in the video, put it in the oven, because, you know, I will drop it on camera. It has to happen, doesn't it? So I'm just going to pause that, and I will come back once it's all done. So there we are. It took 15 minutes altogether to brown off. It could have stayed in for a little bit longer, but we're not really ready to have it yet. So I didn't want it to get too melted and brown looking. But that's just perfect. So thanks for watching. And as I said before, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos. Thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.